Hey, morning everyone. It's Celebration Friday, and I wanted to talk to you about something that a bunch of coaches and I were talking about yesterday. So, believe it or not, coaches have fears as well. And it was an interesting conversation that I had, and I thought that this really applied to people in their careers, climbing the career ladder, starting your own business, or searching for a new job, asking for a raise, asking for time off, asking for, part-time, whatever the case may be. There's so many different things that we have going on in our careers, and people have a tendency to be so scared about like what the future holds and what it means. And one of the biggest things that I noticed is that we hold these fears in. We don't share them with people that we care about, and we kind of let them fester inside of us, and we think we're so alone in it, right? No matter what your fear is, there's tons of different kinds of fears. Maybe you're afraid that your boss is going to find out that you're interviewing. There's so many ways that you could choose to be scared, and when you hold that in and you don't share, hi Kimberly, good to see you, when you hold those fears in and you don't share, you kind of are preventing yourself from being able to move past it. So there's this powerful thing that you can do, which is share your fears with people who can hear them for you and reflect back to you how scary or not scary they are, right? They can be empathetic with you, but you can also hear like how silly perhaps the fear is. And this is often what I find, that like my fears sound a lot scarier in my head when I don't tell anybody, but when I let people know about what my fears are, then people can say, okay, but then what? And then what? And then what? And then I'll realize like that the fear itself is not as scary as it once seemed, because I have been able to shine a light on it. It's like shining a light on the dark spots of your mind. And I'd love to hear what those fears are for you, because for me, I've been scared in the past in my career about talking about wanting to leave a job. I've been scared to say that I am not available for a project that somebody wants me to be available for. I've been scared about asking for the raise that I want. I've been scared to say that I'm not happy currently in my job and ask for support in figuring out how to move forward. I've been scared about, saying that I don't want to travel for work anymore. That was a really big fear, because I had been traveling for a year straight in a job, and then made the choice to say like I don't want to travel next year. That was a really big deal for me, because that was basically me saying no to a project, but it was me saying yes to my personal life, which really was like hanging by a thread by that point. I didn't see anybody when I was in DC. So there were lots of different fears that I had, and I wondered how it would affect my career to announce those fears. I remember in my first job, I was afraid to tell them that I was applying to graduate school. Um, Even though they kind of knew that it was about time for me to go to graduate school, and some of them were encouraging me, I was still afraid, because like what if they let me go from my job early or something like that. So, there's all these fears that I had. And one of the best things that happened to me is having someone say to me, "Okay, so if you do say this, what would happen next? What are the possible scenarios?" And then I could see that like the worst possible scenarios, the most like are probably the most least likely to happen. The probability is so small that, you know, what was there really to lose? There was more upside from taking the risk than downside. And so I'd love to hear what those are for you, because so many people feel that, and they think that they're alone, but honestly, we all share those fears. And when we start releasing what our fears are, when we start saying what are we scared of, then we realize, oh my gosh, all these other people are scared of this too. Like, maybe this is crazy. I'm not alone. And now I can create a strategy that has me feeling really good about how I'm going to move forward. See how that's just a much more powerful way for you to feel good about yourself and your career, to feel ready for the decisions that you're making, to make requests that you need to make, to announce what you need to announce, ask for what you need. There's so much that we can do when we realize that our fears are not as bad as they are in our heads. And so I invite you to share those fears today. Share them with us in this group. Tell us what you're scared of. Tell us why you're scared of it. And I will be in the group all day coaching around this. So, I mean, if there's something that you want to talk about, share it and I will help you through it, because this is the power of this group. In this closed group where nobody can see your posts except the people in the group, it's powerful to be able to share what you want to share and get the support that you need. So let's get going on that today. Let's clear out those fears now, because that's how you can get the support that you need. By the way, I was just thinking, it just popped into my head. A lot of women are afraid to tell their bosses that they're pregnant. That's another big fear. And I was just thinking about this because I know several people who are pregnant who are in that experience right now. And it's scary to be able to share with your boss and not feel like there will be ramifications for something like that. Life decisions are life decisions, and what you need is what you need. And if you're too scared to ask for what you need, then you're going to miss out on opportunities for your joy, for your happiness, for thriving in your business or in your job. And so I want you to think about it from that perspective, because it's so important to think of it from there and to figure out what you want to do. And speaking of thriving in your job, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be doing a webinar. I'm going to actually be doing the webinar on May 19th. I decided to push it back a week. And this webinar is going to be on thriving in your job rather than just surviving in your job while searching for the job that you really want. And I hope that you join me. It's going to be a really powerful webinar, and I believe it's going to be at 1 p.m. on Friday, May 19th, so during your lunch hour, so block the time now, and you'll get more details about that later today. And I can't wait to see what you create. Thanks for joining me. Bye.